It's good to have you with us, Peter.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Well, you have been here in the New York Stock Exchange like forever, over 30 years.
Since 1640s, since
18.
Alexander Hamilton started the banking
I like
industry
that
in
bold
America.
ratio, actually. Because tons of Wall Street changed a lot and over the past decades, right? But you have become one of the icon signature of NYSE. So just why? Will you make that
They can
choice?
see it. It's the face. They love it. Why? Look, I think the most important thing to notice is that over 32 years, yes, this place has changed a lot because of technology, because of the nature of the economy and markets. But what hasn't changed, which is the most significant thing, is we are still human beings still in this marketplace. In a world where everything is like, Amazon announced this week that we're not going to have cashiers anymore in grocery stores. We're still here. There's still people. And even though this is a very highly technical market and trading with computers and whatnot, the New York Stock Exchange is still here. There's still brokers. There are guys behind us who are trading, market makers. We are still brokers and you're still here. That's the most exciting part, that after all this time, markets still trade the same way. There are humans involved. There are bids, there are offers. It's an auction market. We scream, we yell, we have a lot of fun.
Yeah, back then they were screaming and yelling on the trading floor, and people and traders learning in the fire, actually, without training, I heard you right. So back then, do you miss the old days or just embrace or love every single day?
No, well, I embrace every day because I'm really happy we're still here. It's still a very exciting market. As you can see, we are now at record levels, right? This has been one of the most exciting years. Do I miss the old days? Absolutely. I liked screaming and yelling. I'm a loud and boisterous guy. Yes, we did. I'm still a loud and obnoxious guy. I do miss those times. Those are, for me, that was what I fell in love with in the marketplace. But you know what? Look, we've got to embrace technology. We have to embrace the fact that we're still here as humans. It's still still the best place to work in the world.
For all these years of being a broker, trader, what do you value most?
I think it's the human factor. I always talk about that. Okay, that stock markets used to be all about humans and their interaction. Technology has taken over our lives in every respect, whether it's social media, whether it's computer trading or whatnot. But still, this room and the history and the embracing the markets. So in that way, really nothing's changed. I get up every morning. I'm super excited to know what's going on in the world, how it's affecting stocks. I get to come down here, interact with human beings, with markets. It's the best.
And back in the 2017, last year, in the market, what financial event that impressed you most?
You know what? I think what's important to see over the last year, I don't talk politics very much, so I really won't address what's going on in Washington, as I really don't believe that it affects the market that much. But it's clear we are up 7,000 points this year.
But that's one part of the politician.
Well, I think that, I'm not going to pick sides as far as politics go, but it's clear that the tax reform bill, the changing and cutting corporate taxes, is a huge, huge factor. Look, there are events. You asked me about events. Is it a big deal that the night Trump was voted to be the president? Market sold off 1,000 points, rallied back 7,000 points. Did we see Brexit, the exit of England from the EU? Was that a big sell-off day? Yes. Did it end up higher at the end of the day? Yes. Did we have some problems with North Korea this year? Were there some intraday sell-off? Yes. Did the market end up higher? Absolutely. So we're seeing a very resilient, strong market. I think the economic stuff that is coming out of Washington, whether it's the infrastructure rebuilding, whether it's trade, whether it's tax reform, whether it's very low interest rates, whether it's super positive bank earnings, this market is on fire, and it shows us. The market, for me, tells me what they think of, of the markets, right? For some reason this year, no matter what has taken place in the world, economically or whatnot, the market has become very resilient. So is it the fact that there's nowhere else to invest than the U.S.? Maybe. I think China's also a great investment. We're not the only market at all-time highs. Europe, Far East, our markets are on fire.
That's Speaking of China, you know me originally from China. So
I do.
Yeah, for you, are you interested in China market, and what's your observation of China economy and the Chinese market?
I don't. It's a little out of my. It's a little out of my wheelhouse. I don't. I trade actually with this gentleman behind us who does a lot of the Chinese stocks. A lot of them have done well. We look at Alibaba obviously as now a big fundamental in our market. Okay. I know that it is one of the largest consumer bases in the world. I know that China is a big purchaser of our bonds, even though that has stopped recently. They're surely not selling them. So it's a strong economy. It's the largest consumer base in the world.
There's a great deal of momentum built up in short China trade. Short in China trade.
I don't know. It's out of my house. I don't know anything about it, so I won't make it up.
But you're in the market every single day, and China is a big part of that business.
You know what it is, and we've seen over the years that what goes on in the Chinese market has had more of an effect on what's going here. Obviously, in the big global picture, it does. If we talk about shorting markets at all, it's a complicated trade. There's so much going on with the economy. Also, we know that things in China can change on a moment's notice. We saw some boundaries, some obstacles this year, right? When your market closed for a couple of days, right? And that affected our market. Our markets are ever changing, interconnected. So your market affects ours, and ours affects yours in a big way.
For stock market, and do you still remain positive for the stock market in this quarter?
You know what? Look, you mentioned the short part of it. Look, whenever markets are trading at all-time record highs, there is a part of the financial community that believes that this is the top, and this is where you have to sell the market and short the market. Those people are now in a lot of pain, right? They've been shorting it for 7,000 points. I don't think we're going to short either one of our markets.
What's your look on the specific energy sector?
You know what? Look, I think it's amazing. We saw oil get sold off over the last number of years from 120 down to 25, right? We saw huge production in fracking and whatnot in the United States. We've seen oil rally back up to $65. I think that's caught everybody by surprise. No matter what's going on in Iran, oil-producing countries, whether it's Libya, Saudi Arabia, with huge production in the U.S., with not a huge growth in demand, it's amazing to see the energy sector as strong as it has been. So,
how much upside do you think?
You know what? It's hard to know here. At $65, they're still buying it. I was stuck in the 45 to 52 range. We saw that break out from 52 to 65. I think it's caught everybody by surprise. At $65, you would think there's got to be a cap on it relative to the production in the U.S., whether the control of production in the Middle East. Nothing seems to change it. As nothing seems to affect this market on the negative side, I don't think anything's changing the oil trade.
And also for the dollar side, for the U.S. dollar, and the U.S. in Davos, the U.S. Treasury Secretary Mnuchin just announced that no concern about the recent slide in dollar.
We're seeing the dollar slide. It trades inversely to our market. The administration, it seems, is talking about the fact that will actually have positive effects on trade, and it often does.